Hello, this video is going to look at the overview area, which is this area up here in the top left. It's the most important part of HerdApp for reporting and looking at lists and jobs lists. So if I click in here, the first thing to look at is we have these tabs across the top that go into the different areas. So I'm going to cover all of these tabs. First one I'm going to do is the one that comes up by default, which is jobs list. And here we go from cows due to calve, freshly calved cows, calves that need to be registered. If I go down further, we have beef animals. If you have beef animals, you might be interested in animals that are coming close to key dates of birth. For dairy farmers, you have high somatic cell count cows. They'll all show up here. So we've a range of jobs that will come up, and these lists grow automatically based on other data that sync in from ICBF or Ag Food or from work that you do on the app yourself. So some of the minor things in this screen is what are these current buttons for. Let's say you have no cows calving at the moment, you have no calves to register, so you might want to look at, this reminder up here that you need to register calves when you're in July or August. So you can move that down the screen. So I click there, say yes, and what it's done is it's moved calves to register down to the bottom. And you can move other ones down to the bottom. You can move this one down to the bottom if you want. So I'm just reorganizing my list. I'm putting the least important ones down at the bottom, and that allows the more important ones to show at the top. And anytime you want, you can just bring them back up. So I can go down and I can bring them back up. It allows you to sort your jobs, but we don't hide any of the jobs either. They're either at the top of the screen or the bottom. The other thing to do is look at settings. You kind of see this little wheel here. This is a typical settings wheel in a lot of apps. Same as the settings here. They're the same area really. So you see the way I have 7 cows due to calve in the next 7 days. But you might say, well, I'm interested in the next 14 days. So you click on the settings and you change this from 7 to 14. Go OK, save that. So you see the way you're now looking at cows to calve in the next 14 days. And you might have noticed that number has increased because there's more cows to calve in that period. So that's what the star and the settings for. And then if you want to see, well, who are these 13 cows? You click either here or here on these 2 columns. And it drills down to give you all of the 13 cows. So these are the cows going to calve. When you're on a phone, you can scroll left and right. We show all the most important information on the left, but keep in mind that you can use your finger to go left and right. The column on the left freezes so that you can see the key data. One of the things that I want to show you at this point as well is that if you want a lot of information on cow 32368A, just click on that cow at the top. And you see the way it drills down to show you individual animal data. So I can then look at milk data for that cow. This is the next cow going to calve. I can look at fertility, milk, events, or beef data for that animal. So if I stick on fertility tab, see the way I have 1/13 here? So I can click next. So effectively what I'm doing is I'm looking at my next 13 cows due to calve and I'm scanning through them all using the previous and next. This previous and next is a great way to scroll through a lot of animals looking at a lot of data. So if I go back here and back to my list of 13 cows due to calve, and this is a super way for you to see what's coming at you in the next few weeks. So I'll click back here, and the next thing I'm going to do is go into the stock tab. And this is a way of looking at the full herd broken down by stock type. So in this data set that I'm using is a demo data set. It's not a real herd, so it's all test data, demo data we create ourselves. So here I can get a breakdown of my milking cows, my milking cull cows, my total milking cows. So, and as in the other screen, you can drill down on them all. So you have 7 males, 1 to 2 years old. So if you want to see who they are, just click on them. And here's my 7 males. If I click on the top one, I can click into the beef tab. So I'm now looking at beef data for 7 males. So again, the previous and next up in the top left is very useful. I always keep clicking back to go back to the previous screen. So the other thing is when you're looking at stock, we break down the stock by feed group as well. We also break it down by stock reconciliation. So what was the stock at the start of the year, what was born, bought, sold, died, and what was the stock at the end of the year. So there's loads of ways of looking at stock breakdowns, and every single number you can drill down. So if I want to know who are these 8 animals, I click on the 8 and I get the 8 up there. I go back here and I want to go into the calvings tab. Calvings tab is a great way to see the calving pattern that's coming at you in the future. So you can see here that my first cows are going to calve. I'm going to have 7 heifers calving on the week starting the 7th of February. I have 2 cows, so I have 9 animals in total. And when they're all calved, that's 26% of my herd calved. So you can see down at the bottom, I have 20 heifers, 14 cows. I have 34 in total. These are all cows that are going to calve. See the way I have 1 week where there's no cows, and then I have my last 2 stragglers on the week starting the 18th of the 4th. The nice thing about that is, again, as in everywhere else, which is very useful and very important to point out, if you want to know who are these 2 animals that are going to calve on the week starting the 21st, the 2nd, just click on the 2, and there's those 2 animals, and you can click on each animal to see more information about those animals. So if I come back out of that, so as you do your serves through the year, you can come in here anytime and you can see the calving pattern that's coming at you in the future. So it's a very key screen for any suckler or dairy farmer who is serving animals on the farm or getting AI technicians in. Obviously, any AI technicians come into HerdApp through ICBF, so this is automatically kept up to date via AI serves as well. For any suckler or dairy herd, we wanted to have a breakdown of fertility of the current herd. So I have all of the key metrics here, like calving the first serve, or conception to first serve, conception to second serve, submission rates. Again, click on any number, it gives you the cows that make up that number. So this is a great way to keep track of your success stories on fertility and also your problems in fertility area. The last area that I'll go into is problems. This is a way of finding animals in your herd that literally are potential problems. And you can do it on the full herd, you can do it on the replacement herd or the young stock herd, and you can do it on the cow herd, which are all calved animals. And a very simple one is, if I look at my full herd and I want to look at illnesses in the last month, so from the 4th of the 1st, 2022, I'm doing this video on the 4th of the 2nd, 2022. So I click here and say, well, what illnesses am I interested in? And I'll say, well, I'm interested in all illnesses. So I mark all illnesses. And then I say, well, search for animals that have any illness in the last month. And there I have 3 animals. 1 had pneumonia and there's 2 lameness. And the logic behind that is you might have somebody calling to the herd. It could be a hoof bearer, it could be a vet, or you might want to go out and start looking at these animals yourself and decide, well, what do I want to do with them? Again, as before, if I click on the top animal, I am now scrolling through my 3 animals that have had a health problem of some sort in the last month, which is all very useful way to extract data and look at data on your whole herd. If I come over into the cow list, in the cows we have a lot more types of problems we can find based on missing heats. So ideal to run that in the end of March, start of April, which cows have missed heats. Very useful then as you're going through your breeding season is looking for irregular heats. You can pull out cows that have had hard calvings, that have had twins at the last birth, who've had stillborn calves at the last, because these could be fertility problems in the future breeding season. You can pull out animals based on high somatic cell count or milk solids problems and so forth. So there's a lot of ways of filtering problem cows out on the dairy or suckler herd as well. So I think that's okay. That's enough for this video. I just want to give you an overview of how to use this area. It's a key area that you can get huge amounts of information quickly, all on your phone, and it's well worth just being familiar with some of the things that we mentioned there.